To the August 14th, 2025 meeting of the Elkhart City Board of Zoning Appeals. Just as a reminder, video comments will only be taken on WebEx. You cannot comment on Facebook. You can watch only. If you're on video mute, your mic will not be on when you're speaking. Speak up and identify yourself before you begin to speak. The purpose of this meeting is to review and consider all requests for relief from any standard in the zoning ordinance, including variances, use variances, special exceptions, conditional use requests, and administrative appeals. All of the cases heard tonight will have a positive, negative, or no decision made by the board. If no decision is made, the petition will be set for another hearing. If a decision is made that you disagree with, either as the petitioner or an interested party, you must file for an appeal of the board's decision no later than 30 days after the decision is made in an appropriate court. If you think you may potentially want an appeal to appeal a decision of the board, you must give this board a written appearance before the hearing. If you are here in person, a sign-in sheet is provided which will act as an appearance. Please make sure if you're planning on speaking that you all have signed in. You should sign the sheet if you want to speak, but also if you do not wish to speak, you might want to appeal our decision. If you are appearing by WebEx or Facebook, please put your name and address in the comment section. A written petition that is set for hearing tonight satisfies that requirement for the petitioner. If you file your appeal later than 30 days after the decision of this board or give no written appearance tonight, you may not appeal the board's decision. Because the rules on appeal are statutory and specific on what you can do, the board highly suggests that you seek legal advice. If you are the petitioner, in addition to filing an appeal, you may first file a motion for rehearing within 14 days of the board's decision. When speaking, petitioner, public, and board members make sure you hold the microphone close to your mouth when you speak. We have a quorum tonight, so I don't need to go over that. With respect to the public comment portion of the meeting, public comments will be taken only on the specific petition being heard before the board. Unlike city council meetings where there is a time for anyone to comment on any issues, we do not have that at the BZA, and comments will only be taken for or against the petition before the board. At this time, we'll take the roll call.
Evangelikoff.
Here.
Lightman. Here. Davis. Mulvaney.
Here.
Beecher.
Here.
Okay. Now we will approve the agenda for tonight. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second? All those in favor say aye.
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 So moved. Now we'll approve the minutes. No, we'll vote on approving the minutes. Do I have a motion for the July 12th minutes?
Actually, that was last.
Yeah, in July, we're missing some people that were absent. I think you, Faylene, you
I
were
was
absent.
absent.
right?
Yeah.
So that's the only
It
year.
needs to be amended to,
Okay, so the July 10th minutes need to be amended. The members absent, we've got none, and Faylene was absent, and yeah, Ron Davis was absent, and I think that's it.
yeah.
All right.
I move we approve the July 10, 2025 minutes as amended, adding the addition of the two absent members.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Okay. Now for the June 12th minutes. All those in favor say aye.
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 So moved. Now we have the proof of publication. These were published on August 1st, 2025. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So moved. Okay, we have one bit of old business tonight, and we are going to put that at the bottom. Are they here? Oh, they're online. Okay. All right, then we will go ahead and go forward with the first bit of old business, 25X05.
Okay. Good evening, Board. Kyle Anthony Petter, Planner 2. The petitioner is Francisco Simez and Maria Torres. The location is 1920 Benham Avenue. The request is per section 5.3, special exception use, 4.3.g, daycare centers to allow for the establishment of a new daycare center at 1920 Benham Avenue.
Do we have anyone to speak in favor of the petition? Do we have someone online? There we go. So can you tell us what you want us to do today? Are you on mute? I think you might be on mute.
Also having internet issues.
Yes, also internet issues, but
Can you hear me?
yes, now we can hear you. Oh, good. Can you please tell us what would you like us to do tonight?
I would like you to approve my petition to allow for a daycare center at 1920 Benham Avenue. We've been in business for so many years, and we comply with everything with the state. If you have more questions about the daycares, I'm happy to answer.
Do we have any questions from the board? No, no questions. Is anyone here tonight who would like to speak in favor of the petition? Anyone in opposition to the petition? Okay, at this time, I'll close the public meeting and ask for the staff report.
Staff analysis. The petitioner are submitting a application for a daycare at 1920 Benham Avenue. There are 6 other home daycare centers in the 2000 block of Benham, also owned and operated by the petitioner. They have been able to expand and fill their childcare opening in part because of the demonstration of need for daycare providers in Elkhart. The house at 1920 Benham Avenue is 920 square feet, built in 1950 according to the Elkhart County Assessor's records. The lot is 0.15 acres. At the writing of this report, staff has not had an opportunity to physically visit the site, but staff will make an appointment to visit the site before the hearing date. They plan to apply for a Class 2 license with the state's Family and Social Service Administration, FSSA, which allows for up to 16 children. Pickup and drop-off for the facility will be handled from the alley on the east of the property. There is ample parking in the rear for employees based on information provided in the petition. They plan on enrolling in the Children and Adult Care Food Program, CACFP, to provide healthy meals. They also have become members of the National Association for Family Children Care, NAFCC. In terms of space, the house is adequate. The state minimum is 560 square feet for a Class 2 license. Recommendation. Staff recommends approval of the request based upon the following finding of facts. Number 1, the special exception is defined, location, and proposed to be operated that the public health, safety, and welfare will be protected. Number 2, the special exception will not reduce the value of other properties in its immediate vicinity because there will be no exterior changes to the existing building. Number 3, the special exception shall conform to the regulations of the zoning district in which it is to be located because it will not generate an adverse effect on adjoining properties in the form of noise, smoke, or odor. Conditions. If the board chooses to approve the requested special exception, staff recommends that the following conditions be placed upon the approval. Number 1, the petitioner shall submit plans for the building renovation to the building department within 14 days of approval and obtain permits for any work to be done there within 45 days of approval. Number 2, all children shall be restricted to the building and fenced-in play area except when arriving and leaving or for supervised walks or outings. Number 3, the facility and grounds shall be kept clean at all times. Number 4, the facility shall be subject to inspections upon reasonable notice by the zoning administration during hours of operation. Number 5, there shall be no exterior display, signs, or other forms of advertisement on the premise. Number 6, a copy of the child care home license shall be submitted to the Department of Planning and Zoning upon receipt from the Indiana Family and Social Service Administration. Number 7, if the daycare ceases to operate for more than 1 year or the license is revoked, the special exception becomes null and void. Number 8, any violation of the terms of this special exception as deemed by the city zoning administration shall render the special exception invalid. Number 9, there shall be a maximum of 16 children. Number 10, pickup and drop-off shall be from the alley at the rear of the property. And number 11, the special exception is for 2 years and shall be reviewed as a staff item by the Board of Zoning Appeals by July 10th, 2027. There was 25 letters mailed out, 1 in favor, no comments.
Any questions for staff? Okay. Call for a motion?
I move to approve special exception 25X05 and adopt the petitioner's documents and presentation together with the staff's findings of fact as the board's findings of fact in the present petition, and adopt all conditions listed in the staff report.
Second.
Mulvaney,
Yes.
Beecher,
Yes.
Evangelikoff,
Yes.
Lightman, Yes.
Okay. Passes, and go build your, whatever,
Daycare.
daycare. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, now we'll go on to new business. And I call for the staff's report for 25 BCA 17.
The petitioner is Fabian, and I apologize, Maganes. I butchered that, I'm sorry. And Gary Malcolm. The site location is 1306 Irwin Street. And the request is to vary from section 26(7)(C)(3)A, location of parking facilities, which states in part, the parking requirements for 1 and 2 family residential uses shall be accommodated in paved driveways, which may be located in the front, side, or rear yard, but may not occupy more than 50% of any yard, to allow for an unpermitted driveway in the front yard with an area of 53%, a variance of 23% lot area occupied by driveway.
At this time, call the petitioner forward and tell us what you have done and would like to do, like us to do.
Good evening, members of the board. My name is Fabian Magallanes, and I live at 1306 Irwin Street, Elkhart, Indiana. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to speak about my request for a variance. We are a single family with 2 little kids, a 4-year-old and a 3-year-old. And when we bought the house, it was outdated, so we're trying to remodel it. And our driveway was too small, and we have multiple vehicles, so we wanted to make a roundabout in front of our house to make it look nicer. And I understand that the city code limits driveways 50%. At the time, I didn't know. I measured, and I thought I had less paved than grass. I am asking for a variance of 23% so that I can maintain it as it is. We have been working really hard to make our house look better. The driveway is very important to us because we don't have no side parking or rear yard access. And it's a safer, my kids are barely learning to ride bikes, so they enjoy riding through there, like going in and out. They don't have to go on the street or anything. The driveway is well maintained, does not create any traffic, draining issues. It blends with the neighborhood and does not negatively affect neighbor property values or appearance. Ask if you may approve my variance.
I've got some questions for you.
Yeah.
I drove by today, and I can tell you're trying to make your home look lovely. And you've done a lot of work on it, and I commend you for that. There are a couple of things I don't understand. And first of all, I do understand that you've already put this in. And so anything that we decide tonight, if we decide no, you will be ripping this out. And that would be very unfortunate. And I hate to have people rip things out. However, there's a couple of questions I have. When I drove by, there were 4 vehicles in the driveway, in the side driveway, and it looked to me like you've got 3 garage stalls. And so I'm not sure why you've got so many cars in the driveway.
Okay, so the reason why I have so many cars in the driveway is because my garage, we're using like to put the material that we're using, and we have the saw machine there
I see.
and a whole bunch of tools. So we try to clean up, but always more trash ends up, building up.
Sure. Okay,
That's the reason why we don't have our cars in there right now, but once we're done with everything, we want to put our cars in there.
okay, all right. I guess that's my main question. I'm going to have some questions for staff to understand a few things in their requirements. But I'll defer to my other. We may be calling you back because depending on what the staff says, we may be asking you some more questions. Okay. All right, great. Thank you. I want to open the public meeting at this time. Anyone to speak in favor of the petitioner? Anyone to speak in opposition to the petition?
I am not for sure if I can speak. I'm on WebEx.
Yes, you can.
You need to turn your camera on, please.
Hi there. My name is Misty Mraz, and I live at 1237 Irwin Street. And I just want to say that ever since Fabian and his wife have moved into their house, they have done a lot of upgrades and has really made their property look nice. I personally like the horseshoe driveway, and I think that the city should consider allowing them to keep it.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Misty.
Hello, I'm also on WebEx.
Yes, we can see you and hear you. Please go
Thank-
ahead.
We live right across the street from them, and they have done so much work on that house, and we're totally in favor of their driveway.
All right.
Could you please state your name for the record?
We are the Habicks.
Okay, is that all you need? Okay, all right, very good. Thank you. We appreciate you speaking with us today.
Sure.
And we've got one final person.
Hi, Jeff Schaefer, City Engineer. There's a memo in your packet from me, and I won't go through all of that. I think the point that from the engineering perspective and the permitting perspective we want to emphasize is these, when unpermitted driveways such as this go in, it can be a cost to the taxpayers, it can be a cost to the ratepayers. When we don't have a driveway permit, we often end up with sidewalks that are not ADA compliant, and then we're using taxpayer money to repair those sidewalks. If the depth of the sidewalk is not sufficient at the driveway approach, again, and that cracks, then we're using taxpayer money to replace that. So same thing with the driveway approach. When the approach is not done correctly at the curb, or if the street doesn't have curbs, again, we're using taxpayer money to replace those streets. So I just want to emphasize, when a driveway like this is done without permits, it does have a negative impact on the public health, safety, and welfare just through those things. So we do have concerns with this petition. There are some other concerns in the memo, but I want to emphasize that. I understand what the homeowners are trying to do. I hate to be the mean guy, but it does affect the rest of the city taxpayers and the ratepayers. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other comments? Okay, at this time, I will close the public meeting and go to the staff report.
The petitioner is requesting a developmental variance to vary from Section 26(7)(c)(3)(a), location of parking facilities, which states in part the parking requirements for 1- and 2-family residential uses shall be accommodated in paved driveways which may be located in the front, side, or rear yard, but may not occupy more than 50% of any yard to allow for an unpermitted driveway in the front yard with an area of 73%, a variance of 23% lot area occupied by driveway. The petitioner is requesting a variance from the off-street parking section of the residential in the ordinance to allow for the driveway that is 73% of the lot area in the front yard when the maximum allowed is 50. This property expanded their existing drive to create a circle drive in the front yard to increase parking and circulation. The variance is needed as the ordinance requires all paved driveways in residential districts in the front, side, or rear yard to not occupy more than 50%. Staff were made aware of the driveway expansion after receiving a complaint about the new driveway in the front yard on May 18, 2025. Staff investigated and confirmed no record of no permit being issued and sent a violation notice to the property owner. The petitioner then submitted for the driveway permit. While reviewing the permit submittal, staff made Public Works aware of this work in the right-of-way as a separate approval is required for new curb cuts. After completing a review of the permit application and realizing there were standards that have not been met, staff informed the property owner the new drive did not meet developmental requirements. The percentage of lot coverage exceeded the maximum allowed by ordinance. Driveways like this do exist in the city. Those drives have been approved in the past, but city requirements were met. This driveway was installed without benefit of a driveway permit or approval from Public Works for work within the right-of-way. The current requirements for Section 26(7)(c)(3)(a) were added to the ordinance by Ordinance 4462 on January 13, 2000, and has been in place since then. A memo was also included in the packet from the Engineering Department in opposition of the request. The project does not meet city specs for material thickness for driveway approaches in the city right-of-way. The photo above depicts the city right-of-way where the sidewalk is farther away from the property line when compared to the adjacent block of Irwin. This reinforces the fact that the placement of the sidewalk is not a good indicator of property lines. Due to the location of the right-of-way, the amount of front yard area available for driveway construction is reduced. The right-of-way is 60 feet along Irwin Street, and this is common distance of right-of-way for the neighborhood. As a result, any significant installation of pavement will increase the lot coverage due to the limited area in the front. Additionally, the close proximity to Lily Creek is a unique factor that cannot be ignored in this case. By reducing the pervious surfaces, this new paving can cause additional runoff and pollution into the stream. And I apologize, I was playing with some thoughts and didn't continue. Staff recommends denial of this variance. Staff recommends denial of the developmental variance based on the following findings of fact. The approval will be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community because the driveway was not built per all applicable city codes. Number two, the use and value of the area to the property will be affected in a substantially adverse manner as the driveway was installed without permits and has the potential to exacerbate stormwater issues in the area. Number three, granting the variance would not be consistent with the intent and purpose of this ordinance because the new drive was installed without benefit of permit or review prior by staff. Number four, special conditions and circumstances do not exist which are peculiar to the land involved and which are not applicable to other lands or structures in the same district, as on-street parking is available and circle drives are uncommon for this neighborhood. Number five, the strict application of the terms of this ordinance will not result in practical difficulties in the use of the property because the driveway already exists on the property and on-street parking is available. Number six, the special conditions and circumstances do exist from action or inaction by the applicant as the work was completed without permit or approval for working in the right-of-way. And number seven, the property does not lie within a designated flood hazard area. Conditions: if the board chooses to approve the requested developmental variance, staff recommends the following conditions be placed on the approval. And this should be this should say that the board chooses not to approve, that the petitioner shall remove the drive and pavement within the right-of-way within 45 days of the August 14, 2025 meeting. I apologize.
Not understand what you were.
Yes, I was thinking in different terms. I apologize.
No problem.
There were 40 letters sent. 4 returned in favor, 3 with comments, and we heard from 2 of the 3 respondents this evening, as well as a third with the comment that this young couple have done many improvements since they moved in, painted the entire house, new roof, and take pride in home ownership. The driveway looks nice and isn't a problem. It's an asset to the neighborhood. And one returned not in favor. Following comments, because they've already put the circle drive in, and I'm assuming without permits. Number two, because there are 7 cars parked there, I don't know if they have current registration, and more pavement seems like more vehicles, an eyesore, and it looks like a junkyard, not a residence.
Any questions for Eric?
The only thing I notice is the right-of-way seems really wide.
That is fairly common for those side streets out there.
So the 23% is what we're talking about. So visually, it's probably less impact.
I would agree with that. Having gone by today, you would. Very similar in space.
Yes, I do have a question.
I read somewhere in here, I can't find it now, that the thickness of the driveway was also a concern to meet up to the sidewalk. Is that also?
Well, because there are a separate set of requirements for work within the right-of-way.
Okay.
And no idea or how thick that pavement, if it even meets our requirements, because the asphalt has X number of inches of depth that is required from the sidewalk out to the public right-of-way.
So did they take up, well, I guess this is a question for you all. Did you take up the sidewalk and lay the asphalt, or did you stop and keep the city's sidewalk and then start on the other side?
Please come to the mic.
Asphalt over the sidewalk, they stopped and then
Started. So the sidewalk has not been changed. Okay, so then,
Pavement within the public right-of-way from the sidewalk to the street.
from the sidewalk to the street.
That's why they are required to post a bond and get approval from the utility before they do that work, because any work in the public right-of-way requires a specific set of pavement thickness within that to meet our requirements. Alluding again to what Mr. Schaefer said, that we don't know how that works, and if it falls apart, it falls on the taxpayers by default, because the city has to go out and then maintain that. And we don't know to what standard that work was completed, because we require an inspection before any work is done. So if they were going to use concrete, they have to put the forms in, excavate, call for their inspection, and then pour.
Is there any compromise in which they could tear out that part and get the actual permits and follow city code and stuff like that for that part?
I think that would be a minimum.
Okay. Are there any other things we're not thinking of here? Or I know the city engineer spoke earlier on it. So is that the main concern there?
Well, there's the runoff too, right? Yes, if you could.
So I just wonder.
If I can just go back to the sidewalk point, that's actually very important. So sidewalks are normally only 4 inches thick. We require driveways to be 6 inches thick so they don't crack when vehicles drive on them. When we have a driveway approach as this petitioner constructed, what will happen is that 4-inch sidewalk, which was never intended to be used as a driveway, will crack. So we actually require the sidewalk to be increased in thickness as part of the driveway construction.
Just in that one specific area
Correct,
where the
as
cars
the
park.
driveway approach goes in. So I think that's
you'll
important.
want him, you would want him in our scenario of trying to figure out a compromise, you would want him to tear out the sidewalk too.
Yes.
And make it thicker on both sides or just the one side that goes into the garage?
We haven't, yeah, I don't have as much information on the east approach, which was a previous approach. We'd have to dig into that a little bit. But the new west approach, yes, of course, because right now that west approach is a vehicle traveling over a 4-inch sidewalk, which over time will normally crack that sidewalk.
And that's, the city owns that sidewalk.
Correct.
I understand
And then
that.
because of ADA compliance requirements, then we have to replace that sidewalk. You know, we do have concerns about runoff and that sort of thing. That's an issue. But just strictly from the engineering perspective, even going outside the zoning perspective, strictly from the engineering perspective, that's a concern. And so our goal is always that residents approach us first. We can keep them in compliance.
Now, from the city's standpoint, would you want concrete from the street up to the sidewalk, or is asphalt acceptable?
Our standards allow both, but what we do require a certain thickness of asphalt. And what we find is most people end up putting in concrete because it's a small area, and based on how deep you have to be, how thick you have to be, concrete's easier to work
Or
with.
all at once, be
Yeah.
done with it.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
That clarifies a lot. Could you, so what we're talking about up here is a compromise, because as you heard the city engineer say, the depth of the sidewalk at what it has been laid is not thick enough to not crack if vehicles are driven over it. So when people do renovations like you've done, it's more a worry about the city's asset, which is the sidewalk. That is the reason why we're looking at if we can come up with something that works for both of us. It would be, and I don't want to put words into the committee's mouth, but it would be something along the lines of you would tear out, we would give you your circular driveway, but you would tear out from the sidewalk, you'd tear out the sidewalk, and then the lower part of that, you would tear all of that out, get a permit from
Public Works.
Public Works, and they would tell you how thick. I believe it was 4 inches, but I'm not gonna say that. You would do that small area to the standards of the Public Works. And then the most important part of what you have done would be up to code. Do you
Yeah.
understand?
Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
Okay. Would you agree to that condition if we were to accept your proposal, but with the condition that you do something like that, whatever the board puts in?
Yes, I would agree to do that.
Okay. All right. Thank you for being cooperative. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Okay. So would I have to tear that in the next 45
We're going to
days?
have to vote first, and then after we receive a suggestion from the board and we vote, then we'll make sure that you understand exactly what you need to do.
All right, thank you.
Okay,
Yeah,
great.
thank you.
Thank you. All right.
I do have one other.
Not for the city, I don't think.
Just the ground coverage for the runoff.
The only areas we have concerns with the thickness of public right-of-way.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify.
Very good. All right. So I'm going to call for a motion now.
Okay, correct.
Do we have our?
I move to approve developmental variance 25 BZA 17 and adopt the petitioner's documents and presentation as the findings of fact in the present petition, and adding the following board conditions, namely that the portion of the driveway from the sidewalk, the portion of the driveway within the city right-of-way from the sidewalk to the street be replaced with a sidewalk and driveway that meets all city standards and is.
Second.
Mulvaney,
Yes.
Beecher,
Yes.
Lightman,
Yes.
Evangelikov.
Yes. Okay, so take this offline and go.
We need to put a date on that too. I don't know if it's too late to do that. I think it's a 45-day.
I think it would be appropriate to have a timeline because the original was if the, and I apologize, if the board chose not to approve. So there was 45 days. So I think we would need to add within 45 days, they need to have that work completed.
Okay.
Had enough time to go through the process for the board of work.
So we need to amend.
I move to amend my motion. My amended motion, I move to approve developmental variance 25 BZA 17 and adopt the petitioner's documents and presentation as the findings of fact in the present petition and adopt the following conditions from the board, namely that the portion of the driveway and sidewalk within the city right-of-way be removed and reinstalled up to city code and permitting from the Board of Public Works, and that all work be completed within 45 days.
Second? Call?
Mulvaney,
Yes.
Beecher,
Yes.
Lightman,
Yes.
Evangelikov.
Yes. All right. Eric, do you want to? Very good. At this point, we will go to 25 BZA 18.
The petitioner is Jeffrey Long, Scott Miner, and Andrew Peacock. The location is 1923 East Jackson Boulevard. The request is to vary from section 4.4 yard requirements, corner side yard, Clare Avenue frontage, where the corner side yard is calculated from the average front yard setbacks, the primary structure, within the same block on the same street, St. Clair, which is 38 feet. The request is to allow for a new replacement garage to be built in the same location as the existing garage, which is 7 feet and 2/10 feet from the property line, and a corner side yard variance of 30 feet. Also, section 4.4 yard requirements also requires a total side yard setback of 20 feet. The house and the addition of the proposed garage, the total side yard setbacks will be 12.2 feet. A second variance of 7 and 8/10 feet.
Okay, at this time, I'd like to call the petitioner forward. Have you signed in? Okay.
Hi, my name is Jeff Long. Thank you for allowing me to present today. We have a house at 1923 Jackson that we are trying to bring up to date. It's got no restroom on the first floor. It's got a single stall garage. People are parking on the side of the house. We're renovating the house to sell versus a rental property. As of right now, it'd be a rental property just because of what it offers. We want to make it a nice home to sell, minimize traffic on the street. What we're asking for is very typical of all the houses and all the corner streets in the area. We've gone through and measured everything. We're actually in a more positive light than some of the existing homes. But it'll improve the house. The house is getting totally renovated, and it's going to be a very nice house when we're done.
Any questions from the board?
Now, one of the staff conditions that they've requested, if we approve the developmental variance, is that you'll orient the garage opening so the entry doors open from the south to prevent the sidewalk from being blocked by parked cars. Do you have any problem with that condition?
No, we agree with it and we support it because we know visitors will block when they pull in, they will block the sidewalk. The only thing that I do ask is I have to redraw it because I just found out about that. We may need to go a little further to the south, which wouldn't impact either variance either way. But putting the restrooms now east and west instead of north and south may take up more room in the garage. And I got to make sure that, because like I said, we want to put a 2.5 stall garage in, so you have 2 cars, lawn equipment, and everything inside the garage.
At this time, I want to open the public meeting. Anyone to speak in favor of the petition? Anyone to speak in opposition to the petition? I'll close the public meeting and ask for the staff report.
The petitioner is requesting a developmental variance to construct a new attached garage and replace a smaller attached garage in the same location as the existing along the east St. Clair Avenue and the south side of the property extending 12 feet to the west. The request is specific to vary from section 4.4 yard requirements, corner yard, side yard, St. Clair Avenue frontage, where the corner side yard is calculated from the requested average front yard setbacks of the primary structure within the same block on the same street, St. Clair, which is 38 feet. The request is to allow for a new replacement garage to be built in the same location as the existing garage, which is 7 feet and 2/10 feet from the property line, a corner side yard variance of 30.8 feet. The request also varies from section 4.4 yard requirements that request that a total side yard setback of 20 feet. The house and the addition of the proposed garage, the total side yard setback will be 12.2 feet, a second variance of 7 and 10/8 feet. The proposed attached garage structure would be situated on the south side, the rear, and run the width of the house. Plans call for the removal of a enclosed porch and attached garage on the rear of the house and the installation of a larger attached garage with a bathroom. Plans call for the structure to be 12 feet deeper than the existing garage. The current garage doors does not provide adequate room for storage and parking needs for the property. The placement of the house to which the garage is to be placed is 5 feet from the west property line and 7 feet from the corner side yard, St. Clair. Due to the lot being long and narrow, limited options for placement for a garage exists. In reviewing the petitioner, staff recommends locating the garage door for the new garage on the rear south facade. This recommendation is because when cars are parked outside the garage, they do not block the sidewalk. Staff do not want to endorse a situation that is likely to create a ADA violation by blocking the public sidewalk. This revised scenario would create a L-shaped driveway from St. Clair to the doors on the south of the new garage. Staff recommends approval of this variance. Recommendations. The staff recommends approval of the developmental variance based on the following finding of facts. The approval will not be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, or general welfare of the community because the garage will be constructed and inspected to ensure it is built to all applicable code requirements. The use and value of the area adjoining to the property will not be adversely affected because the structure is a common addition to residential homes. And if not for the shape of the lot and the non-conforming house located, it would otherwise be permitted. Number 3, granting the variance would be consistent with the intent and purpose of this ordinance because a small measure of relief when uniquely warranted. Number 4, special conditions and circumstances do exist which are particular to the land involved and which are not applicable to other land or structures in the same district due to the lot being long and narrow, limiting the options for placement of a garage addition. Number 5, the strict application of the terms of this ordinance will result in practical difficulties in the use of the property because the owner would not be able to place the structure in the most practical location. Number 6, these special conditions and circumstances do not result from an action or inaction by the applicant because no construction has begun. Number 7, the property does not lie within a special flood hazard area. Conditions. If the board chooses to approve the requested developmental variance, staff recommends that the following condition be placed upon the approval. The petitioner shall orient the garage opening so the entrance door opens from the south to prevent the sidewalk from being blocked by parked cars. 32 letters were sent out, 5 in favor, 2 with comments. That property needs updates. This will help it look nicer and hopefully safer. I support any property owner building new garages in the neighborhood.
Any questions? Okay, thank you. I call for a motion.
I move we approve developmental variance 25 BZA 18 and adopt the petitioner's documents and presentation together with the staff's findings of fact as the board's finding of fact in the present petition and adopt all conditions listed in the staff report.
Second. Roll call.
Mulvaney,
Yes.
Beecher,
Yes.
Lightman,
Yes.
Evangelikov.
Yes. All right, motion's passed. Thank you very much. I think that's going to be a real asset to that area. Yeah. Right, next we've got,
The petitioner is Michael Patrick Nagy. The site location is the 1500 vacant land in the 1500 block of West Franklin. The request is to vary from the uses found in section 12.2 permitted uses in the B2 Community Business District to allow for the construction of a one-family detached dwelling. Also, for the same dwelling above, the proposed area of the dwelling is 403 square feet. The minimum area of any one-family dwelling is 750 square feet. Found in section 6.2B in the R3 two-family dwelling district, a variance of 347 square feet, and to also vary from section 12.4 yard requirements, which requires a 6-foot side yard setback for drives to allow for the drive at 0-foot setback, a variance of 6 feet.
I'd like to call the petitioner forward, and you've signed in? Okay, great.
Good evening, board and tech. You're doing a great job. I've come forward here to discuss about, I recently purchased some land on Franklin Street. I chose this land because it's on the bus route. It's close to the hospital, as you see, medically disabled, so close to the hospital's good for me. And it's on the water. So I'm looking to get granted to build a tiny house. I'm gonna develop the land. I'm hoping to develop the land, seawall, stairs up the riverbank, make it look nice and presentable, tiny house, nice landscaping. I volunteer in the community. I help out at Goodwill. I'm a member of a local church, and I'd like to be able to be a homeowner here in Elkhart.
We would like that too.
Okay, thank you.
I've got some questions for you. First of all, is there going to be a driveway, and are you going to park your car outside in that driveway?
At this time, there will be a driveway it'll be on the east side of the property.
Yep.
And eventually, I hope to build a garage. But yes, it has 2 parking spots there
Okay.
that I have figured in for a driveway.
Okay. I went by there today, and I think your idea for using that space is really clever.
Well, thank you.
And another question, though, that I have, and this does trouble me a little bit, you're going to build a temporary fence for the construction,
Yes, correct.
and then you're going to tear it down after?
Yes, remove it.
And that fence is going to cost you $8,000?
Yeah, that was a little high price, wasn't it? The gate rolls instead of swinging in because it's such a small piece of property, and they have the gate custom made.
Okay, but you are.
Yes, I am.
Okay, because violation and out, and you've just got to take that fence down when you're done.
Understood.
Okay, all right. I know it seems like $8,000 is a lot of money to spend.
I plan on keeping the fence for future projects.
You have a place to store it?
Yes, I do.
Okay, all right.
It won't be stored on that property.
Oh, okay, all right, good. Okay, those were my questions. Any other questions?
Sharp looking house. That's
Yeah, I love the looks of this. I showed it to the gal that, a friend of mine today, and she was like, where'd he get that? Who's the builder? She was very impressed.
I appreciate it. It has 88 bathrooms, so, if later on in life, it'll be easier for me to get in and out of the shower, through the doorways, washer and dryer. It has everything I need, and it's small enough for me to manage. So.
And you won't have to spend an arm and leg to heat it, too. And
Exactly.
yeah, that'll be great.
Yeah, with today's new heating and cooling systems, it will be low cost for utilities, so.
All right. Yes, absolutely. I want to open the public meeting at this time. Anyone to speak in favor of the petition? Anyone to speak in opposition of the petition? Yes, ma'am. Please come up and make sure you've signed in. Could you bring the microphone down? Perfect, thank you.
My name is Marcia Bechtel. I own the property right to the east of this lot that's being considered. I have several concerns about this proposal. I'd like to address them to the board here. First of all, I wanted to find out how many feet would there be from his parking lot or from his house over to the stair steps. You said you went to the property, so you see that there's a set of stairs on the west side of my property. And so I'm concerned of how close a car would be parking to those stairs so that there wouldn't be an accidental hitting the stairs. I just don't, I spoke to Eric about this last week, but I just don't know how close that could be. I saw painted marks on the sidewalk, maybe in the blacktop. It looks like it would be going halfway into my stairs. So if the stairs is 36 inch wide, it looked like it'd be going right up the middle of the stairs, is what I'm seeing with the markings on the pavement. So that's a big concern. So I'm wanting to know where his driveway, or Michael's driveway would be, and he just mentioned about building a garage. And so if a garage was to be built, what is the code for the distance between a property line and a building being built? Again, there's a stairway there. I did look at the plot map to see, how much ground do I have. It is very small, but it looks like the stairs is by code where it should be. And so where would the garage be? How close would the garage be? Would or could be to the stairs of the building? Because I could see that maybe being dangerous if it's too close for tenants going up and down the stairs. I also have a concern about the rear of the property. There has been erosion over the years, which has caused the blacktop for Michael's property to wash away. I had put up a temporary wall there several years ago to stop the erosion because the land was washing away also. And after Michael bought the property, I see that temporary wall, which was concrete blocks and some concrete chunks I put there, and maybe there was some plywood put in there so it would stop the gushing of water coming off Michael's property. It wasn't Michael's at that time, of course, but to stop the water coming off that parking lot because it does slope down the hill there and washing away. I don't know, did you get out and walk on the property to see the back of the property?
I didn't. No, I just drove by and pulled in.
I don't know if anybody here has looked at the back where the parking lot does slope and it's washing away. So I'm very concerned about that wall not being there now. And I don't know when he's planning on doing his seawall or steps coming up there, but I think that needs to be addressed right away to stop more damage to his property and damage to my property as the water is coming down. Would be on the east side of Easton, and the back side is where it's washing away.
So what you're saying is the storm runoff from his property is going over to your property and washing out some of the...
It's washing out his property. The blacktop that was there is, I don't know, probably at least 2 feet, maybe 3 feet, has washed away over the previous years. When I put up that temporary wall, I didn't know where my property line was at, but I just knew I needed to do something because I didn't even know who owned that vacant lot. I needed to do something to stop the erosion of that lot, the blacktop, and my lot. So that's why I put that there. I'm not sure why he took it away right away because it was very obvious why it was there, because right on the right-hand side of it, it was all this erosion. So I'd like to see something done with that right away, even before he does the landscaping in the back or the seawall or the stairs that he's proposing. And would the stairs be to the right of his property going down, or would it be in the center of his property? I would like to know that information. I feel that the style of the home that he's wanting to put in, I understand for him it would be very convenient and cute, but I feel it does not fit the cosmetics of this neighborhood, and that it would lower the value of homes around there, including my property, because most homes are two-story homes. There are many rental properties all the way around there. And I just feel that the style of this home does not fit into this neighborhood. And I don't know if the style of his home is similar to one that's out on the Mishawaka Road that's a tiny house. I haven't seen a photo of what he's proposing to put in. But I just know how small tiny houses are, and if it's only going to be 400 square feet, that's really the size of like a camper or even smaller than a trailer. And then again, if he's wanting to put a garage there, there definitely wouldn't be room for more than a one-stall garage, because I know that lot doesn't have that much frontage to have a home and a garage. So that's a concern. So I'm saying no to putting this in because of the cosmetic and the deteriorating of the property values all around, not just my property. So I'm saying no.
We have answers, no.
Is there any photo?
Oh, there's a photo of what he's put up, yes.
Do you have it? May I see it?
Do you have a land survey of your property by chance?
No.
Do you?
Yes.
We'll have you come up in a second and we'll ask you those questions.
Definitely does not fit into the neighborhood at all. And I know in past years, I've been a landlord in Elkhart now for 39 years. I've dealt with Eric a lot over the years. And I know in the past, the city did have big concerns about houses not fitting into neighborhoods if it wasn't of the same style. And I guess the city has lost that, I can't think of the right word.
We don't get to dictate the style of the house. That's not in our jurisdiction.
In our purview.
Yeah.
It has in the past, but maybe that has changed. But
we can't talk about that, but you did say that
I do have questions about the land survey, so I don't.
Eric?
I did speak with Mrs. Bechtel earlier last week, and the petitioner did obtain a survey, and the stairs that go to the second floor of her building are on his lot. And as I told her last week, that is an issue between private property owners. The city is not going to participate in making that. We're not going to get involved. They'll have to work that out amongst themselves. And in reference to the work at the back, as I mentioned in my staff report, he would have to get a permit from the Indiana Department of Natural Resources before any of that work would begin.
I think you all will have to work out the stairs issue.
Because it is half on.
So you'll have to speak together and what's going to happen.
is there a time frame of this landscaping that's going to be done so that this ground won't continue to wash away? I don't know, Michael, if you get plans for it? Most of the water is coming from the parking lot. That's why your concrete has busted, not concrete blacktop.
You guys will have to work that out between the two of you. We can't, we have no jurisdiction over that. This is private land ownership.
Yeah.
So
thank you very much. Are there any other Discussions from opposition to the petition? Okay, then I'll close the public meeting and ask for the staff report.
The petitioner is requesting use variance to allow for the construction of a detached residential dwelling that is 403 square feet in area. Section 12.2 permitted uses in the community business district does not permit one-family dwellings. Section 6.2B R3 two-family dwelling district speaks to the minimum area of one-family dwellings. Excuse me, the minimum area is 750 square feet, a variance of 347 square feet. The need for the use variance comes from the fact that the B2 zoning district does not permit residential uses. The parcel is currently completely asphalted and has been used for parking for the adjacent properties for some time. The petitioner is proposing to build an owner-occupied detached residential dwelling that is 403 square feet in size, of the size of a typical accessory dwelling unit or the size of an efficiency apartment. The property has some limitations, with the rear third of the parcel located in the special flood hazard area with a steep slope down to the St. Joseph River. The area in the special flood hazard area is not developable without a permit approval from the Indiana Department of Natural Resources. From the street, the small detached dwelling will have the appearance of an accessory dwelling unit. This request will allow the property to be redeveloped and continue to chip away at the shortage of housing in our community as outlined in the Zimmerman-Volk housing study. The city needs housing at every level, and this request helps the city in supporting redevelopment on infill lots throughout the city. The petitioner is proposing to place a temporary construction fence at the perimeter of the property for the duration of construction. This is to protect the site during construction. The staff recommends approval of the developmental variance based on the following findings of fact. The approval will not be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, or general welfare of the community because the detached dwelling will be built per all applicable building codes. Number two, the use and value of the area adjacent to the property will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner because the majority of surrounding uses are residential and are residential structures. Number three, granting the variance would be consistent with the intent and purpose of this ordinance because a small measure of relief, when uniquely warranted. Number four, special conditions and circumstances do exist which are peculiar to the land involved and which are not applicable to other lands or structures in the same district because without board action, residential development on this parcel would not be permitted. Number five, the strict application of the terms of this ordinance will result in practical difficulties in the use of the property because developing a permitted B use is not easily achieved with both adjacent structures used residentially and providing for the required off-street parking would be challenging. Number six, the special conditions and circumstances do not result from action or inaction by the applicant as zoning for the property has existed for some time. And number seven, the property does not lie within the designated flood hazard area. Specifically, the part of the property proposed to be developed is outside the special flood hazard area. Conditions, the petitioner will be required to modify the width of the drive approach within the public right-of-way. There were 38 letters mailed to returned not in favor with no comment.
Any questions for staff? Call for a motion.
I move to approve use variance 25 UV07 and adopt the petitioner's documents and presentation together with the staff's findings of fact as the board's findings of fact in the present petition and adopt all conditions in the staff report.
Second?
Second.
Roll call?
Beecher,
Yes.
Mulvaney,
Yes.
Lightman,
Yes.
Evangelikoff.
Yes. Okay. Very good. Go build your house. Yes, you bet. Right. 25 BZA 20.
The petitioner's First Presbyterian Church. The site location is 200 East Beardsley, and the request is to vary from section 2610F5BF temporary signs, which permits 2 yard signs per street frontage and 1 additional sign for each 250 feet of frontage for all 4 street frontages in B districts for a period of 30 days per year, and 1 banner which is not permitted in residentially zoned districts, to allow for 12 roadside signs, 6 interior wayfinding signs, 1 banner for a total of 70 days per year, a variance of 6 additional yard signs in 40 days per year, where these signs are only permitted in B districts.
I'm Bruce Carter, and I'm an elder at First Presbyterian Church, and I would like to speak in favor of our petition. I want to thank the board for giving us consideration for our road sign, our yard sign program, and I want to thank the planning department for their work with us. We've worked with them a lot over the last few months, and the working relationship has been great. We use yard signs to advertise and communicate with our neighbors and the events that we have at our church. It's kind of an unusual way of doing things. Most churches just don't really get out on the street and provide those yard signs and communicate with the neighbors, and that's the reason we do this. We're considered, I would say, the rich church up on Beardsley, and we offer things that maybe other people would not come to had we not advertised in the way we do. We have 7 events that we advertise. We have Ashes to Go, which is a unique way to celebrate Ash Wednesday. We have Music and More, a unique way to teach our young folks music. We actually invested in some new equipment to provide better learning opportunities for our youth in that program. We have our youth programs, very active youth program that we have. And we have Vacation Bible School, and Vacation Bible School includes what we call time travel. So we take our Vacation Bible School folks and youth, and we move them into biblical times to get a better experience for their Bible study. We have Trunk or Treat. Everybody has a Trunk or Treat, and Christmas and Easter. So those are the 7 events. We have set up a campaign, a yard sign campaign that has been very effective. Pastor Sally will talk to you a little bit later about how it's been effective and how we're getting the information out to the neighbors. But this has been our goal. We have really wanted to reach outside the walls of our church and get into the neighborhoods, bring the neighborhood children into our church. And it has been working for us very, very well. In order to do that, we're asking, I guess, you to approve a big favor, and that is that we'd like to use more time for our yard signs than is typically awarded to other users. We need, in order to advertise properly these events, we really need 70 days of yard sign activity out in the road. That, in addition to the jazz, we also provide a program called Jazz Sunday that's done in conjunction with the Jazz Festival, where we offer a sanctuary to patrons of Jazz Festival for free of charge to listen to Dave Bennett as he plays along with our morning service on Jazz Weekends. So we're very happy with how things are going, and we're very happy with how the neighborhood has been receiving our message. So we're asking, I know, above and beyond the call of duty, but we also look at this issue as a way to communicate with our neighbors. And we've looked at the standards that you all are required to meet, and we do not see how this program could violate any of those standards. As a matter of fact, this program allows our church to communicate better with the neighbors. So there's a true benefit to this program. So, and we also have not received any complaints from any of the neighbors. We've had some issues with the departments in the city, both the Public Works and the Planning Department, because we kind of put those out before we actually had the permits to do it. And so I'd like to, at this point, ask Pastor Sally to come up and talk about how this program has worked for our community.
Hello, I'm Reverend Dr. Sally Wicks. I'm the pastor of First Presbyterian Church. So thank you for hearing our request. I want to tell you a little bit about why it's so important for us to be able to use yard signs. Churches actually have a real challenge getting the word out these days about things that are happening in their churches. Particularly, I think in our area, it's difficult because a lot of our neighbors are moderate income or lower income, which means they're very unlikely to subscribe to the newspaper. So that is out of our ability for advertising or inviting. Many of them don't have internet access and computers. So we do use social media, but getting to the neighborhood is difficult, and trying to figure out a way to invite particularly families with children to come in and enjoy and learn from and benefit from these free programs of music and sometimes science and communication building skills and all of the ways that we encourage young people to grow and thrive and learn about God. So we started working with yard signs. The yard signs are highly effective. Last year we had 400 people come to our trunk or treat, 250 children and about 150 adults. They come because they see the yard signs in the neighborhood. Our Vacation Bible School, which we started 4 years ago with 13 children, grew to 50 this year. We asked them this year, how did you hear about us? They said, it was the yard signs. We saw the yard signs and came. So these are really effective for us. We believe that 2 weeks is kind of a minimum of what we need. If you are having a dinner party at your house, you generally aren't going to just invite somebody the week before the dinner party. You're going to give them at least 2 weeks, maybe 3. So they have time to get it on their calendar. We would like 2 weeks to be able to put up yard signs to invite people to come in and participate in our programs. If we did that for all 7 events, that would be 96 days.
Did which?
If we did 2 weeks for all 7 events, it would be 98 days. We're asking for 70. We've been trying to kind of trim it and bring it back a little bit. 70 gives us, especially those programs with children and youth, gives us 2 weeks to have those signs up. So I know that a lot of people in our residential zone are houses, and they might not need more than 30 days for garage sale signs or a sign for a builder that's putting on a new roof. As a church, we have a very different mission, and so we're asking for this exception. I will say that we are part of the Christiana Creek Neighborhood Association, and the Neighborhood Association really considers First Presbyterian and the Ruthmere to be kind of at the heart of the neighborhood. We've been told that they're very excited about all the things that we have going on in our church, that they like our colorful and joyful yard signs and don't have any problem with them. So thank you for considering our request.
Is there anyone else? Any speaking from your team? Okay. All right. Any questions from the board?
Now, the board has suggested, or not the board, the staff has recommended two conditions if we do approve the variance. One is that the small yard temporary signs are to be placed on the property of the church, not in the public right of way, and that the 6 wayfinding signs would be valid through December 31, 2026, giving the church time to develop their own wayfinding sign program for the campus. Any problem with those conditions?
The wayfinding issue is probably something we should talk about. We have some time to deal with that. Wayfinding is difficult in our church. We have 13 entrances and we have multiple events taking place at different locations in the church. It's very confusing. And so we have a wayfinding program right now. We use some sandwich signs and we use the yard signs to tell people, our visitors and our members, what's happening at what time. We really believe that's going to be a permanent part of our program, so we would object to the idea that they would be temporary after, I think, what was the date?
December 31 of 2026. You'd have a year and a half to come up with a program to.
So we can live with that for a year and a half and then come back to the planning commission or the planning department and talk about that.
With a proposal,
then.
sure.
Fine. We got time. Okay.
I'm sorry, I want to just understand the restriction on where the signs, the yard signs can be placed.
Well, in front of the church are generally what we would call the tree lawn. That's the city right of way. You're not allowed to put any kind of sign at all in those areas. That's been a city ordinance for how long, Eric? I mean, for. Okay.
Yeah, the difficulty is that the tree lawn, if we can't put it in the tree lawn, we have parking lots or driveways for our parking lots that go right around the church. So we're going to have to put it in the asphalt of the parking lot if we can't put it in the tree lawn. We could put it as close as we can get to the driveway that goes around the church, but if we have to put it back in the tree lawn, we're practically putting it up at the building. It's just the nature of our property. So.
Doesn't matter. Okay.
This board can't give them permission to place those in the right of way.
Yeah.
And Mr. Carter understands that if he wants it in the public right of way, he has to appear and petition the Board of Works. This action is for activity on their property.
Okay. And so for activity on their property, you are recommending that they get 36 days as opposed to their request for 70. And it sounds like it's a moot point because they can't put the signs on their property anyway.
We're only talking about the Beardsley Avenue. That's that. They've got 3 other sides that are part of the request. They asked for 4, all 4 sides of the church.
Right, and I saw that, but aren't those tree lawns too? They're tree lawns on
They've got tree lawn on the
Grove
one side, they've
and-
got tree lawn on the back, and they've got some parking in the right of way, but they've also got some lawn on that side as well.
So the thought is that on the 3 sides, you could put those signs on your property? Okay, it's just the Beardsley side that you'll have to go to the Board of Public Works for, and you're aware of that? Okay, now then, okay. So the question we have to decide. Okay. Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yes, we do.
You're just
Sorry, I
a
just
potted
read it
plant,
all,
Eric,
so.
sorry.
Yeah, really.
Whatever
Okay.
you want to do.
The petitioner is requesting a developmental variance to vary from section 2610F5BF temporary signs, which permits 2 yard signs per street frontage and 1 additional sign for each 250 feet of frontage for all 4 street frontages in B districts for a period of 30 days per year, and 1 banner which is not permitted in residentially zoned districts, to allow for 12 roadside signs and 6 interior wayfinding signs and 1 banner for a total of 70 days per year, a variance of 6 additional yard signs and 40 days per year where these signs are only permitted in B districts. The petitioner is requesting a variance from the temporary signs section of the ordinance to provide notice of activities occurring at the church. The church has several special events The church has several special events they wish to alert the public by using small temporary signs. Additionally, they are requesting on-site wayfinding signage for the interior of the campus to direct people once they come onto church property, to also place a banner on the south facade of the building for the same purpose. The need for the variance arises from the fact that the temporary signs requested are permitted only in B districts, and the number of signs exceeds what is permitted for temporary signs. The church is surrounded by public streets on all 4 sides of the building, with on-street parking lots with at least 1 aisle of parking on all 4 sides of the building. The proposal calls for the placement of 3 temporary signs on each of the street frontages and place 6 wayfinding signs on the interior of the campus. Staff have been working with the church for the past several months to assist them in finding solutions to their signage needs. In the past, the church has placed numerous signs and feather flags in the public right-of-way along Beardsley to alert the passing public of the current church activity. The department has received complaints related to the number and type and duration of time the signs were placed in the right-of-way for various church activities. At the time, the utility staff asked the church to file for a revocable permit from the Board of Works for the signs placed in the right-of-way, which is the tree lawn. Utility staff's recommendations to the Board of Works was the placement of signs in the right-of-way should reflect the type and time allowances in the zoning ordinance. In other words, not bypassing the requirements of one body by asking for something from another. The idea is to create a level playing field for all those who use temporary signs in the city to relay a message. The church was granted a revocable permit for some of their temporary signs by the Board of Works. The update to the zoning ordinance with an anticipated adoption date of later this summer or early fall will address some of the temporary signs the church has utilized in the past. Feather flags, which are not currently on the list of permitted temporary signs, but are being added to the list of temporary signs. Small signs and banners are proposed to be permitted in all districts in the updated ordinance. The ordinance update would permit these signs in any district for a total of up to 4 signs for up to 30 days. Staff would like the church to look at some more permanent solution for their signage needs, specifically around wayfinding on the campus. If the idea is to assist a visitor with guidance to a specific door or a message to assist a visitor in navigating the campus, this could be accomplished with a permanent sign program. Signs placed around the campus in permanent locations as either directional or messaging signs would eliminate the need for temporary signs and those sign requests. The church has a newer monument sign with an LED reader board to also advertise activities. These options could address a portion of the messaging and wayfinding for the church. Staff is willing to recommend in favor of the 3 temporary yard signs on each side of the surrounding street frontages to a total of 12 for a duration of 36 days per year to alert the public of the various events at the church. The request for additional wayfinding would only be permitted for this year, 2025 and 2026. This will allow the church time to develop a permanent wayfinding sign program for the campus. Staff recommends approval of the developmental variance for the 12 total temporary yard signs for 36 days, approval of the banner sign for 36 days, and approval of the 6 wayfinding signs until the end of 2026 based on the following findings of fact. The approval will not be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, or general welfare of the community because the requested signs are temporary and are not intended to be permanent additions to the property. Number 2, the use and value of the area adjacent to the property will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner as the requested signs are not that uncommon for places of worship. Number 3, granting the variance would be consistent with the intent and purpose of this ordinance because a small measure of relief is when uniquely warranted. Number 4, special conditions and circumstances do exist which are peculiar to the land involved and which are not applicable to other lands and structures in the same district, as the parking lot and drive configuration limits to a certain degree where they can be placed. Number 5, the strict application of the terms of this ordinance may result in practical difficulties in the use of the property because the limitations of time and placement of temporary signs puts constraints on the ability to notice the public of activities within the building. The special conditions and circumstances do not result from any action or inaction by the applicant. And number 7, the property does not lie within the designated flood hazard area. Conditions. The small yard temporary signs are to be placed on the property of the church. They are not to be placed within the public right-of-way. Number 2, the approval of the 6 wayfinding sign is valid through December 31, 2026. This will allow time for the church to develop a wayfinding sign program for the campus.
Questions?
There were
Oh, pardon me, letters. I always,
38 letters sent, 2 returned in favor.
Eric.
Those were in favor of 36?
No, the respondents.
What are they
the
in
neighbors?
favor? What are they speaking in
The
favor?
neighbors were speaking to the original request of the petitioner, was 70.
Did Public Works, did they give them approval for a certain amount of time?
They've been approved for some temporary signs for some activities that have occurred earlier this year, and then they will have to come back, and those were for a limited time. So after this meeting, they'll have to go back to the Board of Works for anything in the public right-of-way after the date of the original approval earlier this year.
Therefore,
We have a legal beagle question.
oh,
Maggie Marnoka. As you know, I'm the attorney for the board. I would suggest that you do the motions in this order. I would break out the wayfaring signs as a motion in itself, and if it passes, it passes. Then, and you can adopt, because we're in agreement with those. You can do the regular, adopt the petitioner's petition and the staff's recommendation and all of that. And then the second motion should be for the petitioner's request. And it would be adopting their petition as the board's findings. If that passes, then you don't need any other motions. If it doesn't pass, you can come back and move to adopt the staff's suggestion. And then you would find the staff's report as the board's findings. Okay? I was just trying to make it a little easier.
The 70 versus the 36, basically, is what you're...
Correct, correct.
all right, well, let's start off then with a motion for the wayfinding.
I'll try this one.
One's the easiest one. No.
I move to approve developmental variance 25 BZA 20 with respect to the wayfinding signs and adopt the petitioner's documents and presentation together with the staff's findings of fact as the board's findings of fact in the present petition, and adopt all conditions listed in the staff report with respect to the wayfinding signs.
Roll call?
Mulvaney,
Yes.
Beecher,
Yes.
Lightman, Evangelikov.
So that part has passed, but you've got a deadline on that to the end of 26. So I wouldn't wait until December of 26 to start your planning on that. Okay, now let's go to the next motion.
I would make a motion to approve.
Question for council. So I assume we will need to take 2 votes, whether we go with the 70 or the 36, correct?
If the 70 passes, you don't.
Right.
You don't do
So
the
then if
36.
it doesn't pass, then we go back to the 36.
Correct.
Right.
Correct. And if that doesn't pass, then I would come up with another motion for you, so that something would pass in the affirmative. Right.
Okay.
I would vote in favor of the petitioner's request, and I'm not sure what language to use for that. Petitioner's request.
Well, we got to do 2 votes, basically, depending on what we want to do.
Well, depending on how this goes, yeah.
Yeah, so I'll do the first motion. I move to approve developmental variance 25 BZA 20 and adopt the petitioner's documents and presentation. Now let me think about this here. We're going to do this. Petitioners asked for 70, staff has asked for 36.
Say the
Petitioners' documents and presentation.
then that
Okay.
covers it.
So I move to approve developmental variance 25 BZA 20 and adopt the petitioner's documents and presentation as the findings of fact in the present petition and adopt the conditions in the staff report.
No.
Oh, no conditions. Never mind.
No.
No conditions.
Okay.
I move to approve developmental variance 25 BZA 20 and adopt the petitioner's documents and presentation as the findings of fact in the present petition.
Second.
Second? Damn, what they're voting for.
The 7.
70. All right. Roll call, please.
Beecher,
Yes.
Mulvaney,
No.
Lightman,
No.
Evangelikov.
Yes. Ooh, tie. I've never had a tie before. What do we do?
No action, it moves to next month.
Okay.
Do that.
Sorry about this. It's very unusual. That's why we need 5 on this board.
Because there was a tie in the vote, it will be held over till next month and be heard.
Sorry about that.
Yes, I'm sorry. Maybe you all should talk in the meantime and see what you can come up with. But I am sorry about that. Okay.
Yes, thank you very much for your time and your consideration, and we'll get together with Eric and staff and see if we can work something
We'll
out
get it
for
figured
next
Yeah,
month.
that sounds good.
Make it easier on everybody, I think.
We would love that, especially since there's just usually 4 up here. So that sounds good. Are we ready to call? Oh, you've got
I have a couple
an
quick
item.
announcements. I've spoken to you about it already, but we may have to have a special meeting in between our August and September. If that comes to pass, I will reach out and to indulge me. I would greatly appreciate that. Secondly, I have been asked to work on some training for the board. It's been a couple years, so we have a consultant that will be coming to do that for you. No, this is a different consultant. This is going to actually be our land use planner. The same company that did our comprehensive plan and is helping us with our update to the UDO. So as a fellow for the Association of Planning from the APA, she will be doing that training. So as soon as we have that contract worked out, we will provide you with that date as well.
All right, thank you very much. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the motion passed.